All right, welcome to In the Paint, everybody. Altitude Sports Radio, 92.5. We've got and Warriors reaction here for you. Man, that was a tough one, folks. Nuggets fall to the Warriors, and just making sure we're starting a new season, so I'm making sure my mic's working here. But yeah, tough into that game. Welcome back, everybody, to In the Paint, right here on Altitude Sports Radio's digital platform, YouTube, Twitter. We just saw the Avs lose a tough one tonight as well. So yeah, lots to go over tonight. I'm excited to get this show going again for everybody this season. Wow, just a really tough ending to this game for the Denver Nuggets tonight. But there were a ton of positive takeaways that I want to get into tonight, as well as obviously the Warriors win in overtime. 137-131 is your final. Been a lot of overtime games. The Thunder first two games have gone into double OT. So lots to get into here tonight with the Nuggets and Warriors. As always, feel free to comment along in the comment section. I'd love to bring those to you and get your reaction throughout the season. We'll be doing this show for almost every single Nuggets post game. So I'm glad to be here and have you join the ride. All right. So look, I did a post game, or excuse me, an off season free agency type show for the Nuggets over the summer, right after free agency. And I said back then, and I'll say it now, thank God the Nuggets have a backup center. If you've been watching this show over the past couple of years, that's been one of my biggest gripes in regards to the Nuggets roster is the backup center. Well, they finally have got one in Jonas Valanciunas. I thought he was excellent tonight in his, limited minutes. I was kind of surprised he only played 12 minutes, to be honest with you. Didn't really play a whole lot in the second half. We saw Nikola Jokic play 41 minutes. Now, obviously that's inflated because of the overtime period, but a little surprised to see Jonas Valanciunas only play 12 minutes tonight. I mean, he was 4 of 5 from the field, scored 8 points, started the game 4 of 4. So I wonder if that's just David Adelman starting to work him in to the lineup, kind of integrate him in slowly. But in his 12 minutes tonight, I thought he was absolutely phenomenal. So, but the big story of the game, at least for the Denver Nuggets, is Aaron Gordon dropped a 50-burger in the season opener in Golden State. I mean, that was absolutely just a phenomenal performance from Aaron Gordon tonight. 17 of 21 shooting, 10 of 11 from beyond the arc, and 50 points. That's a career high for Aaron Gordon. Man, I'll tell you what, I've never seen a player turn a negative into a positive, a weakness into a strength quicker than Aaron Gordon has turned around his three-point shot. Now, obviously, this started last season. I mean, he significantly improved his three-point shot last season. And we saw that again tonight. I mean, he was phenomenal. 10 for 11. I mean, that's just ridiculous. He was he was doing his best Steph Curry impression in Steph Curry's house, the house that Steph Curry built. So that was great to see. I mean, I have really high hopes for Aaron Gordon. Look, I don't think this is like a blip. Now, obviously, Aaron Gordon's not going to shoot 10 of 11 from 3 every night, but he can be a easily over 40% three-point shooter this year for the Denver Nuggets. And I'll tell you what, I was shocked that the Golden State Warriors were not closing out on him at the three-point line, especially after, I mean, he was like 5 of 5 to start the game, and they were still leaving him wide open from 3. I had no idea what the Golden State Warriors defense was doing. They just wouldn't cover him. It's like they didn't play to the type of game that he was having and realize he was on fire from 3. So that was shocking. A couple of other quick notes here tonight, just as far as this is 4 of the 5 starters are the same. Cam Johnson obviously is replacing Michael Porter Jr. in the starting lineup. So that's the only variation of the starting lineup, but the bench is essentially brand new. And that's what excites me most about this Nuggets team. I know they lost tonight. It's the season opener. But I'm telling you, I think the Nuggets are neck and neck right there with the Oklahoma City Thunder to get out of the Western Conference this year. I mean, I really do believe that this is a better, deeper team than the 2023 Denver Nuggets that won an NBA championship. I mean, we saw Spencer Jones get into the game. He played 6 minutes tonight. But what was interesting is Bruce Brown off the bench, 19 minutes. Tim Hardaway played 22 minutes. He actually ended up playing the most minutes of any bench player tonight. 12 minutes for Val, like I mentioned, and 6 minutes for Spencer Jones. Julian Strawther did not get into the game. Jalen Pickett did not get into the game. Zeke Naji, Hunter Tyson, none of those guys got into the game. Now, will they play throughout the season? Of course. I am expecting them to play through various points throughout the season. But what's interesting about this is I get that David Adelman was on Michael Malone's staff for the past 8 years, but this almost has the feel of a new regime. And as far as the front office goes, it is a new regime. All of the guys that the Tenzer and Wallace duo brought in over the offseason, those were the guys that were playing. Now, obviously, Bruce Brown's going to play. He has the experience playing with Nikola Jokic, playing with Jamal Murray, playing with Aaron Gordon. We've seen him be able to come off the bench and contribute to this team in a positive way. He was, okay tonight. He didn't really provide a ton offensively for the Nuggets tonight. I thought he was running around with his hair on fire on the defensive end, which was good to see. But I will be curious to see how long it sort of takes to see if the Nuggets can get the Bruce Brown of a couple seasons ago, that sort of firepower coming off the bench. But the bench unit, my goodness, is that just a treat to watch just after game one. The bench was +4 tonight in the non-Jokic minutes. I think there may have been one game last year where the bench was in the positives when Nikola Jokic was not on the floor. Maybe two. I'd have to go back and look, but they were few and far between. So the fact that in game one, the bench was able to stay in the positive with Nikola Jokic off the floor, not only not lose the lead, but they were +4. I mean, I'll take that every single game from the Nuggets bench from what we've seen over the last couple of years. So, I mean, that was phenomenal to see. So I really am excited to see the depth of this team this year. The addition of Cam Johnson, who we'll get into, I thought he really struggled tonight. But for those of you that have listened in the past, I sort of have a 20 game rule for myself when evaluating these teams, and to just really kind of let them settle in, let the new guys get used to playing with Nikola Jokic. I mean, if you listen to anything Cam Johnson said over the offseason, in training camp, in the preseason, I mean, he was talking about it's an adjustment playing with Nikola Jokic because you always have to have your head on a swivel. I mean, that ball can be coming your direction at any moment. So I'm giving Cam Johnson a little bit of grace. He's still learning how to play with this team. He's still learning how to play in this system. And most importantly, he's still learning how to play with Nikola Jokic. So yeah, he struggled tonight. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But I think Cam Johnson will be just fine. As far as the Warriors go, I saw a preseason poll of execs around the league, insiders of the NBA, rank the top teams in the Western Conference and predict where they think they're going to finish. They had the Golden State Warriors predicted to finish second behind the Thunder in the West. The Nuggets were third. I think that's absolutely insane. I do believe the Nuggets are a better basketball team than the Golden State Warriors, although I'll tell you this, the Golden State Warriors are still a damn good basketball team. The addition of Jimmy Butler last year was phenomenal for them. It really was. And they acquired him from the Miami Heat right around the trade deadline, and they just took off after they got Jimmy Butler. They bring in Al Horford. He's a veteran presence for them. Steph Curry is still just awesome. I mean, he drills the three at the end of the fourth quarter to send this game to overtime after Aaron Gordon hit a three, mind you. That was his 9th three of the night for Aaron Gordon, but Steph Curry was Steph Curry tonight. I mean, he was 6 of 12 from three, 14 of 25 overall, and poured in 42 points. So Steph, he's 38 years old, but players like him, and this is why I think Nikola Jokic, if he wants to, can still play at this elite level up into his late 30s, early 40s potentially, if he wants to do that, because of their styles of play. I mean, Steph just has that type of game that just ages really well. And I think that's going to be the same case for Nikola Jokic if he decides to play that long. But the Warriors got the best of the Nuggets tonight. The Nuggets had a 9-point lead at halftime. They should have won this game. They just got really sloppy defensively in the second half of this game. I mean, they give up 33 points in the third. Sort of tightened it up in the fourth, 26-26. Actually, it was tied up in the fourth, and then they give up 17 points in the 5 minutes of the overtime period. So that was another thing that was a little surprising to me tonight. And again, 20-game rule. I'm giving them 20 games to really get a true evaluation of like, what are these Nuggets this year? On the defensive end, I am fully expecting the Nuggets to be much better defensively this year, because you got rid of your worst defender, at least in your starting five, in Michael Porter Jr., and you bring in a guy, Cam Johnson, who is a much, much better defender overall than MPJ. Now, can Cam Johnson give you as much offensive firepower as Michael Porter Jr.? I would say he's close, but he's not quite there. But defensively, Cam Johnson is a significant upgrade over Michael Porter Jr. So defensively tonight, I thought the Nuggets had a lot of lapses on pick and rolls. They left a lot of shooters wide open for the Golden State Warriors. And against this team, you just can't do that. You cannot go over screens and leave their shooters wide open, or they'll make you pay. And that's how we saw the Golden State Warriors get back into this basketball game tonight. Okay, so another thing I wanted to get into here, and I'll get to your comments here in just a second, but I did want to mention this. Right after David Adelman got hired over the offseason, the Nuggets held a press conference at Ball Arena, and Jamal Murray was there. I believe Julian Strawther was there, and there were a few other Nuggets players at that press conference. David Adelman said at the beginning of that press conference, he challenged his guys to come into the season in better shape than they did last year. And that's something that I was griping about. I know a lot of you fans were griping about that, specifically Jamal Murray, but the Nuggets just kind of as a whole came into the season out of shape, specifically Jamal Murray. I tell you what, Jamal Murray came into the season in shape. I mean, that dude looks ready to go. Now, he did have the turnover in overtime that really hurt the Nuggets, but I'll give Jamal some credit. It is obvious that guy put in a ton of work over the offseason to make sure that he came into the season in shape. So kudos to Jamal for that. He clearly looks like he's ready to go to start the season. So that was absolutely great to see. I already have people in the comment section asking why the Nuggets don't trade for Curry. It's game one. All right, let's relax just a little bit. And by the way, the Warriors will never trade Steph Curry. That's not going to happen. So there's no need to go there. But I do mean that. I mean, I will say Jamal looks in phenomenal shape. I thought he looked good tonight. I mean, just compare his first game last year to game one tonight. I mean, he is just on a completely different level physically than he was last year. So that was awesome to see. I will say, and tonight was a weird night for Joker. I mean, he still had a triple-double, by the way. Like, I think I'll have to look this up, but he tied either Wilt or Oscar Robertson for the most triple-doubles in NBA history in season openers. I want to make sure I get this right because I saw this earlier. Yeah, with his triple-double tonight, Nikola Jokic has tied Oscar Robertson for the most career triple-doubles in regular season openers with 4. Magic had 2. Jason Kidd had 2, and Russell Westbrook had 2. So he still had a triple-double. And by the way, he got that in regulation. It did not take overtime for Nikola Jokic to get that triple-double. Uncharacteristic night for Joker. Struggled shooting the basketball. 2 of 13 from beyond the arc. And I'll tell you this, I mean, what was weird with Joker tonight is he had wide open looks from 3. He was just off target on his shooting. 8 of 23 overall, just super uncharacteristic off shooting night for Nikola Jokic. I think that is what it is. I have no worries about Nikola Jokic's shooting percentages moving forward. He'll be just fine. But 13 rebounds, 10 assists, 21 points for Nikola Jokic, just an off shooting night. And really, if you think about it, I mean, if Joker goes 10 of 23 instead of 8 of 23, the Nuggets win this game. No question about it. If he goes 3 for 13 or 4 for 13 from 3 instead of 2 for 13, the Nuggets win this game as well. So, obviously, just the big story for the Nuggets coming out of this game, though, is Aaron Gordon was absolutely phenomenal. Just a monster for the Denver Nuggets. I mean, 10 of 11 for 3. He was threatening the record, all-time NBA record. He was 8 for 8 starting out. And he had an open look for his 9-3. That would have tied the record. They said it on the broadcast, but I can't remember who they had said he would have tied if he would have gone 9 for 9 to start the game from beyond the arc. Wide open look, just clanked off the back of the rim. But he hits another one to put the Nuggets up by 3 late in the game, and then Steph Curry ties it up, like I said, with his 26-foot three-pointer. But AG goes for 50 tonight. I mean, that was just a spectacular performance from Aaron Gordon, and the work he has put in on his three-point shot is just phenomenal. I mean, he built a gym in his house to work on his shot, and man, has it paid off. And like I said, I mentioned this earlier, but this isn't like, I'm not really surprised by this from Aaron Gordon. I'm surprised he went 10 of 11 from 3 tonight, but I'm not surprised he's shooting the 3 ball well, because we saw this all of last season. This didn't start, late in the year last year or the beginning of this season or in training camp or preseason this year. He did this all last year. He had the best 3-point shooting percentage of his career last season. So that hot streak, whatever you want to call it, from last year is clearly carried over. I mean, he was easily the best Denver Nugget tonight, at least offensively. I mean, 50 points for AG, 17 of 21 shooting from the field, 10 of 11 from 3. I thought there was that and one he had where he's ripping through 3 Warriors defenders to get to the rim, gets the bucket and the foul. I mean, the dude is just strong as hell. And now he's added a deadly 3-point shot to his game. Aaron Gordon has morphed into a true offensive problem for NBA defenses to cover, because Aaron Gordon's always been a very good offensive player, but his role, especially when it's really been interesting to see Aaron Gordon's evolution from when he started with the Nuggets to where he is now, because he really was just sort of hanging out in the dunker spot early on in his tenure with the Denver Nuggets, and it was effective. I mean, don't get me wrong. Nikola Jokic just fed him the basketball when he was in that dunker spot, and we'll still see him do that, and he still can do that. But adding the 3-point dimension to a physical freak like Aaron Gordon's game, you can't defend that. There's no way to defend AG right now. If he's shooting lights out from beyond the arc, if he can continue that throughout the season, I mean, my goodness, to go along with Nikola Jokic and everything he can do, and if Jamal Murray can start to get his 3-point shot going, this starting five's offense is going to be a serious problem. As far as the bench goes, mentioned them a little bit earlier. I was really impressed with Tim Hardaway. He clearly is going to be their shooting option off the bench. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He led the bench in minutes tonight with 22, 2 of 5 from 3, 4 of 8 overall from the field. He was the leading scorer off the bench for the Nuggets, and like I said, 22 minutes, led the bench for them. I think David Adelman really likes what Tim Hardaway brings to the bench unit, and we're going to be seeing a lot of him and Bruce Brown coming off the bench. Peyton Watson, really, I thought he really struggled tonight on both ends of the floor. I mean, he scored 2 points. There were 2 free throws for Peyton in, 16 minutes for Peyton Watson. Peyton is a guy that, he is the X factor for the bench, in my opinion. If he can consistently produce off the bench, that takes the bench unit to a completely different level, because he is a very good defender. He's super long and lanky and athletic. So what he can do on the defensive end is great for that bench unit, but he's got to be able to produce offensively for this team. Otherwise, it's if these guys don't produce off the bench, this team is so deep that it's going to be insanely difficult for them to find playing time. I mean, it just is. There's no doubt about it. And I just don't know if this team is going to be patient enough to allow guys like Peyton Watson, guys like Hunter Tyson, guys like Julian Strawther and Jalen Pickett to develop as the season goes, because they have so much depth now on this team that I just don't think there's going to be enough minutes to go around in order for that to happen. I got to be honest with you, I was a little surprised to see Spencer Jones get in the game tonight over guys like Julian Strawther and even Zeke Nnaji. I know that Zeke Nnaji is not in the best of favors with a lot of Nuggets fans, and I get that. But for a guy that really he did get some spot duty last year because of injury, but for a guy that really hasn't played a whole lot with this team, it was a little surprising to see him get some minutes tonight off the bench. And I that is something that I'm really fascinated to see how David Adelman plays his rotations, not only with the starters but with the bench unit. Like some of these guys on their bench, like Julian Strawther, could probably start for half the league. And he would easily be a top bench option for, 10 to 15 teams in the NBA. That's just how deep the Nuggets are this year, and that's a good problem for them to have. But I'm also really fascinated to see how Adelman handles Nikola Jokic's minutes. Now, like I talked about earlier, he had 41 minutes tonight. Again, inflated numbers because they played 5 minutes of the overtime. Joker plays all 5 minutes. So really, he was right around that 36-minute mark. Okay? If that's what Nikola Jokic is going to average minutes-wise in the regular season, I'm okay with that. It sure as hell beats the 40-plus minutes a night he was averaging last year when the Nuggets just had no answers when he was off the floor. So if he could be right around that 34 to 36-minute mark, average that throughout the season, I'll tell you what, that is going to pay huge dividends for the Nuggets down the road, down the stretch into March and April and into the playoffs. And that's been one of my biggest concerns with the Joker over the last couple of years, is that, and the starters in general, to be honest with you, but specifically Nikola Jokic. That dude is so damn good. Even when he's just completely worn down in the playoffs, he's still able to produce because he's just an all-time great player. But if they can keep Joker fresh throughout the course of this season by playing Jonas Valanciunas more, by playing some of these bench guys more in place of him. Hell, even, if Zeke Nnaji wants to do spot duty for 5 minutes, a couple of games a week, fine with me. I don't want Nikola Jokic playing 40-plus minutes a night in the regular season anymore. They just can't win with that formula in the playoffs down the stretch. So that is going to be one of the keys I'm looking forward to seeing later on in the season. And like I said, I was pretty surprised that Valanciunas just hardly played in the second half. He was excellent in his first stint. He showed a passing ability tonight that was better than I think a lot of Nuggets fans anticipated from him. So that was good. I mean, there's going to be a drop-off with the backup center when Nikola Jokic is your starter. But as long as they can limit that drop-off just enough to where it's not hurting the bench unit like it has in years past, that's all they need from Val. And I tell you what, this is the best backup big man the Nuggets have had in the Jokic era. So that was absolutely great to see. All right, let's get to some of your comments here before we get out of here. But boy, the Avs losing a shootout and the Nuggets losing overtime. Rough night for Denver sports. I was saying this right as the game ended. The Broncos had such an insane comeback win against the Giants on Sunday. I think this is just the sports gods like evening out the scales of justice in the sports world, because these were two very winnable games for the Avs and the Nuggets tonight. But the Nuggets actually blew the lead late in the game. The Avs came back after being down to 4-1 and then obviously lost in a shootout, but they still get a point. All right, let's get to some of your comments here. My guy Kevin is back. Appreciate you listening, Kev. DA was great hire for this team. I'm excited for David Adelman. You know, I know a lot of Nuggets fans were, I don't want to say down on the hire of David Adelman, but sort of tentative, I guess is the word I would use when the news broke that they were taking the interim tag off of David Adelman and making him the permanent head coach. And I definitely had some question marks with that hire. Just the only sense of that for me was, is keeping a guy that's been on Malone's staff for the last 8 years the best move, or do you just need to sort of kind of get everybody in there fresh? And then as the summer went along, I was really thinking about this. I don't know this, but it's my guess that this was a move to keep the guys that have been here a long time, specifically Nikola Jokic, happy. Joker doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that really likes a lot of change. So I'm guessing that was at least part of the decision. Now, as far as Adelman's game management goes and the way he's running his rotations, the way he's managing the starters' minutes, that is all to be determined. And that's really kind of what I'm looking to see. Can Adelman sort of take a step up from what Michael Malone was doing in regards to that? It started out good tonight in the first half, and then we saw kind of go back to it's the Nikola Jokic show basically the entire second half, which, look, I understand these head coaches wanting to play their best player, the best player on the planet, as much as possible. I mean, I get it. I just hope he's taking the long-term approach when it comes to Nikola Jokic, because obviously the Nuggets are going to be a playoff team. So I hope in the back of his mind, that's just there the whole season for him when it comes to managing the minutes for Nikola Jokic, so that this team does not get run into the ground, which the last couple of years they did. I credit the front office. I thought they had an A+ offseason with the way they rebuilt this bench in one summer. So hopefully the moves they made in regards to that can almost make the decision for David Adelman, at least make it a lot easier in regards to not playing these guys 40+ minutes a night like we've seen over the last couple of years. But we'll see. You know, David Adelman also did something that I really liked tonight. I don't know how big of a deal this is. In fact, I would love to ask some NBA players, like, does this matter? But I will say what I liked from David Adelman tonight was there were a couple of stretches where the Warriors were going, like, look at the start of the game. I mean, the Warriors started off 10-0 in this game. 99.9% of the time, Michael Malone is calling a timeout in that situation. Timeout. David Adelman didn't do that. He's like, no, you're staying out there. You're fine. Relax. We're in the game. Just keep it rolling. He allowed them to play through it. And sure enough, the Nuggets go on a 10-0 run and tie the game at 10. And I thought he did that multiple times tonight. There were scenarios where the Warriors were starting to go on a bit of a mini run. And I was expecting a timeout because that's just how my brain's been conditioned from a Michael Malone head coach team over the last nearly decade to David Adelman. So that was just something small that I liked from Coach Adelman in tonight's game. I'll be curious to see if that's just kind of his strategy with this team moving forward, if he's just going to let these guys play it out. Obviously, there's times where he's going to have to call timeouts when teams are going on runs. I mean, that's just the NBA. But I did like how patient he was with the starting unit as far as not calling these timeouts super early on. All right, let's get to some of your comments here. Humble Beast, thanks for listening. Joker shooting too many threes. Yeah, you know, this is something I've talked about over the years. Like, what is the appropriate amount of threes for Nikola Jokic to shoot in a game? The reason it's a difficult thing to sort of dissect is because there are some games where Nikola Jokic is just absolutely on fire from three. But I will say, one of the things that bothers me about Joker sometimes is when the three ball isn't there, he tends to try to shoot his way out of it. I think Joker's at his best when he knows his three ball's not falling. He just drives to the rim, or he becomes a facilitator. I would say the majority of the time he does fall into the latter category where he recognizes his shot's not falling and then he becomes a facilitator, or he tries to draw fouls, get to the rim, etc. It just wasn't what he was doing tonight. It felt like Joker was trying to just find his rhythm in tonight's game. And I think you see a lot of guys do that early on in the season. Like they just kind of want to get their shooting touch down early on in these games. So I guess I'll chalk it up to that tonight for Nikola Jokic. But I'm with you, man. Like I don't want to see Nikola Jokic shooting 13 threes in a game, especially when you've got Cam Johnson there to shoot threes. You've got Jamal Murray there to shoot threes. I mean, there should never be a game where Nikola Jokic is taking 13 threes and Jamal Murray's taking 4. That just shouldn't happen. Like I'm okay with Joker taking a lot of threes if they're falling, and if the rest of the team is like really struggling from beyond the arc. I guess I get it, but especially in these tight games, Nikola Jokic is at his best when he is driving to the basket and either dishing out to the open man or trying to draw fouls and get to the free throw line. I mean, how many free throws? Joker only had 4 free throws tonight. That's not enough. My goal or my rule for Nikola Jokic is I would like to see him get to the free throw line 10 times a game, if possible. 8 to 10 times a game is right around the sweet spot, I think, for Nikola Jokic to get to the free throw line. So, yeah, fair point. I get it. That's something I've talked about over the years. And, as long as he's not taking 13 threes every other game, then I think he'll be okay. All right. Dante says new roster just needs to play together more to gel. Yeah. Again, that's why I have my 20 game rule, especially this year for this team, because the bench is basically brand new. Now I know Bruce Brown is coming back to the bench where he once flourished. But like I talked about earlier, guys like Cam Johnson talked about over the offseason, it's going to take time to get used to playing with Nikola Jokic. I mean, he's so smart. You don't expect the ball to come to you when he decides to give you the ball. So all of that stuff is going to take time. I'm not worried about Cam Johnson. I'll dig into an evaluation for him after the first 20 games. But listen, I thought overall the Nuggets starters looked pretty good tonight. Christian Braun and Cam Johnson had pretty subpar offensive games, to say the least. I mean, they were both pretty ineffective on the offensive end. I'm not expecting that to be the norm. Christian Braun, 3 of 7 from the field in 38 minutes, 6 points for CB. Only took 1 3, 0 of 1 from beyond the arc. So, yeah, look, if Christian pours in 5 more points, if Cam Johnson pours in 5 more points, the Nuggets win this game. I mean, they were right there. They just, like I said, they had some defensive lapses late in the game, and then it just got away from them. And Steph Curry does what Steph Curry does and started to get hot. I mean, I thought the Nuggets did a great job on Steph Curry in the first half. I mean, you could tell the game plan coming out in this game was to just maul Steph Curry and not allow him to beat this team. It worked, and then they sort of got away from that here in the second half. All right, let's see here. Okay, Giovanni's weighing in on the Joker 3. I would say 6 to 8 max. 12 might be too many, especially going. Yeah, he was actually 2 for 13. I mean, I get what you're saying, Giovanni. Yeah, 2. It's all dependent on how Joker's shooting the 3 ball. I mean, if it's going down, like take as many as you want. I mean, I don't care. But like I said earlier, he needs to recognize, or I would like him to recognize, when the 3 ball isn't falling, find other avenues to try and score the basketball. And honestly, that's kind of just my rule in general for NBA players. This is a problem I've had with Jamal Murray over the years, where he's tries to shoot his way out of a shooting slump in game. Just go to the rim. When the shots aren't falling, go to the rim, get to the line, see the ball go in the hoop at the free throw line. That seems to work for a lot of players in the NBA to get this 3-point shot fixed. So we'll see. All right. Let's see here. One more comment from my guy, Giovanni. while SGA goes 23 of 26 at the free throw line tonight. Is that how many free throws SGA had? I didn't look at his free throw number. I believe it. I mean, I absolutely believe it. Now, I will say, complain about SGA's free throw attempts all you want, and I do get it to a degree. That dude goes to the rim all the time. I mean, he is forcing the refs to make a call. So that's kind of what my point is with when these guys' three-point shot isn't falling, go to the rim, draw fouls. I didn't see the Nuggets doing that enough tonight. Now, if you're Aaron Gordon and you're going 10 of 11 from beyond the arc, keep shooting it. If you're open, shoot. And that's what Aaron Gordon was doing tonight. So, look, game one of the season, tough overtime loss for the Nuggets. I thought there were so many positives to come out of this game. The biggest negative for me was the defense didn't look as good as I was expecting it to look with the changes they made over the offseason. But it is one game, and Steph Curry got hot, and that's the way she goes sometimes. So that's going to do it for the post-game show tonight, everybody. Really appreciate you following along. We'll be doing this after basically every Nuggets game this season. So really appreciate it. Excited to be back. It was a long 5 months over the summer, and I have really high expectations for this Denver Nuggets basketball team. I mean, this team has a chance to be really, really good this year, really special. And like I said to start the show, I think they have a chance to be better than the team that won an NBA championship back in 2023 with the depth that this front office was able to acquire over the offseason. So tough loss tonight, but lots and lots of positives to take away from this team. And I have a big expectations for this team. I really do think the Nuggets are going to be right there in the thick of the number one seed race with the Thunder for the majority of the season. So we'll see how it goes. But that's going to do it for the post-game show tonight. Everybody will be back on Saturday, live from Ball Arena, where the Nuggets will take on the Phoenix Suns coming up on Saturday afternoon. Until then, we'll see you next time.